Hey everybody, it's Batjac JW. It's morning time, and yeah, you're tuned in here. So I'm glad you guys are actually here on this channel. I appreciate it. Been a lot more active here than the main channel. So hopefully you've been kind of watching the videos here, and I'd like to thank everybody that is subscribed and been listening and watching some of the videos here that recently I've been putting out here. Some of the more recent stuff, I guess, within the week or so. The unboxing time, where I purchased, I purchased that trench knife. Again, all that backstory and on all that is listed there in the late night chat videos and whatnot. But I unboxed it and I showed it to you guys, and it was covered in grease and everything. So, and as you know, well, I did do the final review there with it. If you guys are on my Patreon, then you saw it. But that has yet to. I've not yet figured out when I'd like to put that out on the main channel. I'm still trying to check this thing out really and go over it. I ordered two of them. One was for a good friend of mine. If you guys follow me, also with some of the stuff that I do with the Arizona Ghost Riders, with Santee and everything like that, you'll see me and him in a couple of episodes. He does show up here and there on it. A good friend of mine. He was another somebody I was introduced to when I first came out here to Arizona. So he wanted one. So he gave me some cash, so I ordered him one along with mine. So it was really good, really interesting. So the trench knife is actually really neat. I polished mine up, as you guys know, if you saw the video. I didn't like the finish that they did on it, so I just went ahead and polished mine through, and I wanted to see it tarnish kind of in its own natural state. Without the looked like they just slathered it with gun bluing, which was, I mean, it was not bad. It was not bad at all. I just kind of, that's just me. I like to, how I am. I like my own thing to look different, or I just like to do something different than what you just buy off the shelf. So anyhow, some recent stuff here. Actually, my latest video that recently was "I'm a Dapper Dan Man," which is very interesting because it's basically referring to pomade and the movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" Because I've been using pomade since high school, and if you guys watch the Patreon channel, I did a thing on Murray's. My first my first experience with pomade was with Murray's, and if anybody's ever used Murray's before, you know exactly how that went down. Murray's is like that product that works way too well. I mean, you're kind of like, most of the times you're expecting something like, well, let's see how well this stuff works. It probably will work about as half as I expected, but it'll somewhat get the job done. But Murray's is like, no, I'm going to get the job done in overtime and not come out of your hair. Murray's is like putting cosmoline in your hair. And the more, I actually bought a couple of tins of it because it's so cheap. And the stuff is really cheap. I actually had to find it on Amazon because not like before where you could like literally go into, I guess maybe it depends where you're at. I guess it depends on the state or wherever you're at. Maybe it's a little bit more available to find it somewhere else. Like out here, it seems to be like you could find a Winchester 97 shotgun just about any pawn shop. We're back in some other places where you can't find it, and then you got that guy trying to say like it's the most like amazing old antique shotgun you're ever going to find. He wants $800 for it, and where I walk out here and go into a pawn shop and pick one up for $200. But anyway, so that Murray's, I mean, I thought I was just going to be able to walk into Walmart or a Walgreens and just pick it up, and that wasn't the case. So I was kind of curious because, I'm like, you know what? I want to know. I mean, I want to go back in time and just kind of, check that out again. I didn't put it in my hair. No, I didn't, even though there was a little bit of some acting and whatnot in that video to show you just the kind of exaggerating that, but which in a sense it wasn't really exaggerating it. But no, I did not put it in my hair. It was very cheap. I actually bought like 3 cans of that stuff for like $10 off of Amazon, free shipping. You gotta love Amazon Prime for that. But I wouldn't have bought it if it was anywhere over that. $10, 3 tins. Would not have paid $10 for 1 tin, that's for sure. But I think the cool thing was just the nostalgia of having it too. There was a part of me that said that, but I wanted to check it out again and kind of reminisce of like, okay, was this as bad as I remember it? So I got it and I kind of had it on my hands and I went, oh yeah, this is pretty bad. So now with a fresher look at it, I mean, since almost like I said, almost like 15, 20 years ago, I'm like, yeah, this stuff is like it would be like putting Cosmoline or like, better yet, what it seemed like to me was Murray's is like more like Vaseline with some like a few other products in it to make it like slightly different, almost maybe more dense than Vaseline is my guess. So it is one of those petroleum based pomades, which it depends. I don't know if this could be like an old wives' tale or not, but a lot of times the people said, the thing with petroleum-based stuff like that is you're suffocating your scalp, and the longer it stays on, the more, I guess it cuts off like the oxygen to your hair follicle or the roots or whatever, and you can actually go bald. I don't know. Like I said, that could be an old wives' tale, kind of like where some people say, "Oh, you dry fire your gun all the time," or something like that. It'll fall apart or something. I don't know. It's yes and no. I mean, 22 rim fire stuff, yeah, but I don't know. It's just kind of that old wives' tale thing. But anyway, I did want to try and check it out, and I mean, yeah, it was basically like, yeah, I would never put this in my hair again because it's just way too. I'm really glad that the pomade has kind of evolved differently now, because you can wash it out with water. I mean, it goes in, it acts just like pomade, everything, but you rinse it with water, it comes right out. It's not petroleum based. I don't buy any of the petroleum based stuff. And so I was trying this Dapper Dan product because I thought, after I was watching the Old Brother Where Art Thou movie, and I remember when that movie came out and everything, and I just never really watched it. I mean, I saw parts of it, but I didn't really realize there was such an emphasis on that part. So when I actually watched it thoroughly, I was like, wow, that I wonder if that actually is a real product. So I looked it up, and so the only thing I found about Dapper Dan, at least the stuff that I bought, was it actually came out. It was actually developed in England, and it came out after the movie. So I don't know if like maybe Dapper Dan was an old. It might have been one of those things where it was an old name back in the time, and it was actually a real thing, and then it kind of phased out, and then these people just kind of picked it up again and just kind of borrowed it, or it was a total fictitious thing that they just made up for that movie. Because I know that sometimes Hollywood does that, where they just make up stuff like brands. There's actually an entire company in Hollywood that creates boxes, labels, cereals, and things like that for the movies, so they don't have to pay royalties to, like, say, Coca-Cola or Quaker Oats or something, like, so they just kind of fudge it and make up their own brand. It looks like it, kind of, everything, but it's not the name. So sometimes they'll do that. If you're really good, you'll catch it. A really cool known fact is actually with Quentin Tarantino's movies. I don't really care for his movies. I know some people are like, "What? Are you crazy?" But believe it or not, I'm not really the biggest fan of his movies. I mean, they're cool, they're all right, but I'm not I'm not a fanatic about them. He did really only one movie that I thought was just amazing, which is The Hateful Eight. So I got to give him credit for that. That's for sure. I mean, The Hateful Eight is just absolutely just a great Western, really cool. It's just that modern twist on it. It's over the top, so really cool. I got to give him credit for that. But a lot of his stuff was just like almost overrated in a sense for me, but I will still go and see his new upcoming movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it looks really interesting. So, but I do respect the fact that he he still values that old school way of filming. But anyhow, it's been known that he actually utilizes a made up tobacco brand because he refuses to use tobacco or promote tobacco companies. But his cigarettes and everything, he actually made up a brand, Manzana Rojas. And basically has a big giant red apple on the pack. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. He actually does that for a lot of his things. So, but yeah, anyhow, I want to thank everybody for being here and checking it out. Thanks for watching or listening.